Hey, folks, welcome to the 21st episode of the Knock&Talk show. I, of course, am your host, Patrick Faulkner. In this episode, our guest, Caleb Blair, a U.S. Army veteran and serial entrepreneur, is going to be telling us a little bit about his time while in the Army, as well as some of his time after the Army, a little bit about his personal struggles, and most importantly, about how you can support him and his current mission in helping those in need in Ukraine. So, if you want to learn more, stay tuned. We'll see you right after this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I believe, are live here in the Knock&Talk studio, and this is a special edition of the podcast, and episode 21, I believe, is what we are at. And our guest today is Caleb Blair, a friend of mine, a U.S. Army veteran, and a entrepreneur with a very, very important mission, and we're going to get into that a little bit later on, but Caleb, welcome to the show, brother. How you doing?
What's going on, Patrick? Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah. I'm excited to have you here and give you the opportunity to share some of your funny stories from your time in the Army, deployed stateside, as well as learn a little bit about what you're doing in your entrepreneurial endeavors and give you an opportunity to talk about Fam Support Ukraine. But for right now, why don't you introduce yourself to everybody?
Thanks so much, man. I'm really excited to be here. My name's Caleb. I am Class A weirdo, serial entrepreneur, misfit. Got kicked out of the Army because I didn't fit in there. I've wandered a lot in life. Wandered, not wondered. Done that both. But, right now I currently own a marketing agency. I'm a carpenter by trade. I got into entrepreneurship, building a kitchen and bathroom modeling company. It seems that I don't know what to call myself, right? When I'm always asked to introduce myself, like everybody's like, "Oh, I'm a this, I'm a that." I'm just like, I don't fucking know, man. Like, I just exist here, and I am me, and people that know me understand that statement and laugh at it because, like, yeah, I don't even fucking know what Caleb does.
From what I understand, a little bit of everything.
A lot of everything, honestly. Man, it's that whole ADHD of mine or autism or whatever you want to call it manifested itself heavily in my professional life. Last year I put on a men's retreat here in Alaska for entrepreneurs out of the blue. I have done like all over the board, man. We've done financial education. We've done stock culture. We've done stock SaaS. We've done marketing now. It's been an interesting ride and touching all of these different lanes. I get bored easily. I spend 3 months anywhere and I'm like, okay, that was fun.
Time to move. Yeah, I'm sorry I missed out on the Alaska trip. It wasn't in the financial cards at the time, but the next men's retreat, I'm going to do everything within my power to be on that list of guys going out there to live the wilderness life for a couple of days.
Dude, that was such an incredible experience. I don't know if you followed along with like the posts, when we were doing it and whatnot. I did. But thank you for that. It was honestly one of the most emotionally raw encounters with men I've ever had. Right? I've never experienced, a dozen guys coming together and sitting around a kitchen table before, and just like literally every single barrier of inhibition to being vulnerable was just gone. Everybody was just there, like pouring their hearts out, talking about life, talking about their shortcomings, talking about, their journey to become better fathers, husbands, community leaders, business owners. And it's something that I don't think I'll ever be able to not do again. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I'm always going to have this overwhelming desire to facilitate that again, just because of how emotionally moving it was. for myself, for the people that attended. And what's really cool though is that lined up and prepared me for this Ukraine situation in so many different ways, because very similarly, that was a last minute thing as well, right? Like I put out a random Facebook post. I was like, hey, if I brought some dudes out to Alaska and like did a men's retreat, who'd be interested? 24 hours later, I had like 100 comments, and I'm like, okay, I guess I got to do something with this now. And so literally like 45 days later, people had tickets and we had an event planned, and it was under 90 days that the event was completed from the time of inception, when I made that first Facebook post.
That's amazing. So
just coming together and putting people and things and logistics in place in a short time frame, and just kind of spitballing it the whole way, I thought was fast paced back then. And then Russia invaded Ukraine, and we had people on the ground like a week and a half later. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, that's I don't know how you do it. I mean, I work best while under pressure, but that's a heck of a lot of pressure, brother.
So legitimately, it's proving to be an issue because I'm becoming addicted to this fast-paced decision making.
Okay.
Because I only operate under pressure, right? Like that's the only time where the verbiage I use is weird for a lot of people to maybe empathize with, unless they can truly empathize with it. But when life isn't like this, I'm bored, man. Like I have to juggle 2 or 3 businesses at once just to keep my mind attached to what I'm doing, because otherwise it'll get bored and it'll just drift off and find something else to latch to, or to focus on, or I'll find a new passion because I don't have one, and it doesn't want to be doing what it's doing right then. And
next week, we'll have Grizzly Bear wrestling with Caleb Blair.
To all of my men's retreat homies, stay safe from the Bears. Man, I'm not even gonna go to that. Actually, you know what? No, this is the show for it. So one of the focal points of our men's retreat was bear rape awareness, and and we made sure everybody was well aware what to do in case of a a crazed bear attack. And so since then, it's kind of one of the standing jokes of the retreat is everybody that comes has to get a bear rape awareness training.
I've been waiting to use that button.
Oh, man. And so, there's, it's not your everyday retreat coming to Alaska. Kind of prepare for a few things.
I mean, if that's on the list of things, to check off the box, yeah.
Survived bear rape attempt. That's going on my resume.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Bullet point number 1.
Oh, man.
All right, so,
I don't remember where I was going with that now, but...
yeah, I don't know. I guess we can, what's that term used in the White House? We'll circle back around. That's what we'll do. We'll circle back around.
Disregard. I digress.
Yes. So, but speaking of Ukraine in that theater, you have been out that direction before. Am I right?
Yeah, I spent a year and a half in Kosovo with 425. I was an airborne infantryman that got stuck with a brigade element that deployed as the command element for a NATO task force operating in the area. That was 2014 to 2015.
Wow. I can only assume there was some shenanigans that were running amok in that time frame.
You could say so, man. It was interesting because, man, where do I start answering that? So
from the beginning, just start at the beginning.
So it was a very weird deployment, right? And I say that because we got very conflicting information going into it. It was nobody. Let's put it this way: they were like, "Hey, you're deploying to Kosovo," and everybody was like, "What the fuck is Kosovo?" We were in the process of being worked up for an Afghanistan rotation, and we got pulled off of that to go to Kosovo. And so everybody was like, what the fuck is Kosovo? Like,
Yeah.
what do you mean we're not going to Afghanistan now? We're going to Kosovo. Like, what? And so immediately the buttfuckery commenced, right? Just rumors and like everybody starting, stories of whatever movie, because like nobody knew somebody that deployed to Kosovo. Like Kuwait, sure, right? Like everybody knows a Kuwait joke, but like what the fuck is Kosovo, right? Like, and so we all kind of came to the assumption that it was Kuwait on steroids, right? And that it was just going to be super fun. We're going to party with hot European chicks and like have the time of our life. And in some ways it was, but what was unbeknownst to us was that the reason that we were going an active duty airborne brigade for the first time in 10 years that an active duty unit had gone was because ISIS at the time was funneling a whole bunch of fighters through Kosovo over to the Middle East. And so none of us knew that at the time, like zero fucking clue what we were getting into, what was going on. But so we're like, it's going to be Kuwait. And don't get me wrong, it was Kuwait. Like it wasn't anything crazy, right? I'm not like trying to lead up to that and how it was this whole like fucking high speed shitstorm, right? No, it wasn't. But it was fucking weird because so we're expecting Kuwait. We're all on the plane, like fucking joking, smoking, like just bullshitting, right? Like, and we land and it's really, while we were in the air, for those that don't know the political background here, Kosovo is a nation state that declared independence from Serbia, Albania, which were competing for the land. Albanian said it was theirs, Serbian said it was theirs, Kosovo said, fuck you, on my own, right? And so very small, it's like the size of Rhode Island. It's a very, very, very small nation. You can drive from the south border to the north border in like 4 hours. So like it's very small.
All right.
And so when we landed, we had found out that the capital was practically burning down because Albania and Serbia had decided to have the first soccer game in a decade together. And in the game, somebody with an Albanian flag attached to a drone kept flying it through the game to interrupt the game. And one of the Serbian players grabbed the Albanian flag, ripped it down, threw it on the ground, stomped it out. Whole stadium erupts into a brawl. Whole city like starts fighting. Like the Albanians is like the whole thing has been a war between the Albanians and Serbians. NATO is there as peacekeepers, like, right. And so we show up and like our inbound, our handoff is like, hey, here's our body armor and like here's access to our armory and stuff because your guys' stuff isn't going to be here for 3 days. And we're like, what do you mean? Like, oh, you haven't heard? What do you mean? Like, oh no, Pristina's like burning down right now, and like you guys are like grabbing our shit and going to like deal with it. Wow. And everybody's like, whoa, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty high speed, man.
And so we had a bunch of our cab dudes fucking roll out and like go deal with it and stuff. But from then on, like we had this hard and chubby that, we were the new Afghanistan, and like everybody took it way too seriously because like nothing really happened again for the rest of the deployment. But you had this like apprehension of workup, right? Because we didn't expect it and then got smacked in the face with a whole fucking situation. And then all of a sudden everybody's like, oh, we're high speed. And so, I mean, myself included, I was this young 18-year-old fucking E2. You know what I mean? Like, I thought I was the coolest kid in the world.
Yeah.
Running around doing fucking S3 bullshit. And so it was really interesting seeing a command element play out and then play down from there, right? With command having a hard and chubby because they're the focal point of all of, United States Army, Asia, and Europe's like attention right now.
Right.
And all the guys just want to party with European chicks. And so just seeing that then play out for the next year, I mean, I could go on forever, man. But I think that the guys at the end of it would come to the agreement that it was like the best deployment possible of a lifetime because it was just enough to be interesting, but there was so much fun to go around and like bullshit shenanigans. I mean, there was, I don't know, I don't even remember all of the stories just because there were so many, but you have to realize that, for your normal infantry or combat arms element, like you're pretty far detached from a brigade level headquarters. But in this scenario, it was different because we only took 2 companies of combat arms with us, essentially as support for the brigade headquarters element that was going. But then we had 18 other countries' combat arms attachments that we were then in control of. So we were not really the primary focal point of the effort on the ground, in the sense is more we were intelligence, logistics, and command element that were there to facilitate. Okay. And so you had all of these E2s, E3s getting buddy with 04s, 05s, 06s, and that was just fucking weird, dude. Like first name basis, like just like, what the fuck is this? And then we all go back to a line unit afterwards. And then we're like, what the fuck is this? And so the entire experience from start to finish, my military time was never average. You know, it was never like just your typical line unit stories. It was, honestly, I feel more of a political drama than it was a combat drama, if that makes sense. Like, you had a bunch of E2s that then got thrown in with a command element and then expected to just like everything be normal and fine, or continue, not even normal and fine, but in the sense of like retain normal military hierarchy, right? Like, week one, we're all like shaking in our boots because there's a fucking colonel like talking to us and hanging out with us at the desk and stuff. You know what I mean? And then like 3 months later, we're like, hey, bro, go fuck yourself. You know? Like, and then have to come back to a line unit and you have fucking E4 that's fucking been in less than you, that's fucking being a douchebag. And you were used to telling a full bird to go fuck himself jokingly. And then the line unit wants you to meld back in.
Yeah, I could see what that'd be a little difficult, you know, being a no striper, one striper, two striper, and being able to talk to, hey, Kurt, what's up? You know, the full bird. And then, you know, you go back to your line unit and you've got the E4 Mafia expecting, you know, you to almost fully salute as just because they walk by, and you're like, no.
And it was, it's pretty much a great description of it. And I had a fucking attitude issue, dude. Let me tell you. Like,
I don't see that. No,
dude. 19-year-old Caleb was a fucking turd. Like, he had a chip on his shoulder. He thought he was the fucking coolest cat on the block. And like, bro, let me tell you, I did not get along well with my company. I got kicked out of the Army on some stupid bullshit because I didn't know how to get along with people. Honestly, you know. Like me and my team, my fire team, my squad, we were fucking tight as shit, right? But like anything outside of that could get fucked. And I don't know, I just didn't have the patience for the political game anymore, right? Like when I recognized that it didn't have to be a part of the Army, if that makes sense, like when you separated it from the fact that I'm in the Army and this is just how it goes, it was just fucking retarded from then on out. You know what I mean? Like, no, dude, like why the fuck would I do that? That's fucking stupid. And then that just overwhelmingly became the frontal point of my focus. And a year and a half after I got to a line unit, I was out of the Army involuntarily.
Involuntarily?
Yeah. And that is what it is. You know, I hid that fact for a long time. I struggled with a lot of trauma from my childhood, and had a really weird childhood where I was homeschooled and didn't have any friends, and the Army was my first exposure to anything outside of a traumatic setting, which in and of itself was a traumatic setting, but less so traumatic than what I'd experienced previously. And so, you know, I'd struggled with drinking when I was in and everything else. And when I got kicked out, it was not a good story, bro. Let me tell you, I had nothing to give a shit about anymore. And very quickly fell into that drug and alcohol lifestyle, you know, and fucked my life up real good. Just didn't have the ability to contemplate consequences in a long-term perspective because I truly hoped I'd be dead shortly. You know, like it was that, you know, I'm just going to drink myself into a grave, or, you know, sooner or later I'm just going to pull the trigger one of these days when I'm sitting there with a gun in my mouth and none of it's going to matter anyways. And hit rock bottom a few times, bounced off. You know what I mean? Like you do that thing where you like plunge, hit rock bottom, bounce a little bit, bounce, and, you know, until finally kind of settled there and recognized that I either wanted to kill myself and get it over with or figure it the fuck out, you know. And that moment forward was really defining for me because for the first time ever, I was able to take the rest of everybody else out of the blame, right? Like for the first time ever, like I was the common denominator, right? Like I was the person that was the only one that was responsible to fix my shit, right? Like nobody was going to come and save me. I didn't have a team leader that was going to pull me out of it, you know, like it was on me to fix it if I wanted better for myself, right? And that realization was huge for me. I had a really big issue with ownership and accountability previous to that. And it manifests in a lot of ways, you know, whether it's my military service or whether it's my my childhood, or whether that's, not to say that I deserved my childhood, right? But like, I was a douchebag kid. Like, I'll own that. I probably would have fucking beat the shit out of me too when I was 19,
Okay.
And kind of coming to that recognition of like, hey, you are your biggest fucking enemy. Put a lot of things into place for me, right? Like, I stopped caring about everybody else and everything else. And it's funny because I'm sitting here like trying to remember some of these stories that like I have vague recollections of, right? Like, but I couldn't tell you the whole story just because like my mind has entirely washed portions of my life out in the pursuit of better. It's
self-preservation, like, right?
Yeah, and not. There's definitely aspects of it that are trauma based, but then there's other aspects of it that are healing based. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I've processed that time in my life. I don't need to think about it anymore. I've grown. I've learned from it. And like, honestly, prior to this conversation, it's probably prior to the past few weeks and the whole Ukraine thing, it had been years since I thought about my military time in service. I think that was huge for me, was the ability to let go of it, right? I think that so many veterans come out and struggle because of an identity issue. Like, who are they without the military?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that for me, it was a massive problem. And that's how I coped or healed from it, was by disengaging entirely and almost forgetting that I was even a veteran, like forgetting, I had it on my Facebook and whatever else, but it's not something I thought about, right? Like, something I had to grow through. Like, I intentionally don't wear my KIA band for my squad leader. Like, I intentionally tried to remove myself from the identity of a veteran. And I'm not sure if I even understand why yet. I don't know if I've processed the why of it, but it just happened. And I don't even know why I went down that rabbit hole, but I think it was kind of applicable. And I think some of my fellow veterans will relate to either yearning to do so or struggling with when it happens and how they process it, or even before that, right? Like, who am I now that I'm not a badass motherfucker?
Yeah, well, I mean, this conversation goes in the same path that a lot of the ups and downs in life go. We're up here and we're laughing, we're having a good time, and then it's just a switch, and all of a sudden we're downhill in a rabbit hole. And for you to be able to pick yourself up by the bootstraps and, one, take ownership, and then two, work to own it, is why you're here. And a lot of us, because I struggled in my own way when I was non-voluntarily medically retired from my law enforcement post. I mean, I was a sergeant, I had a K-9, and I was at the pinnacle of my career, and then I hurt myself off duty, and then there was nothing. And I went from Sergeant Faulkner to just Patrick, so I think a lot of us, military, law enforcement, first responders, we all have that roller coaster that we ride, and we all suffer at some point in time, whether we elect to get out on our own or we're forced out for one reason or another, to try and reinvent ourselves, and for better or worse, maybe better, something better, or we can't, and we take the worst aspect and we struggle even more. So I personally appreciate that story, going from, a 19-year-old with a chip on your shoulder in the Army, and then realizing the Army wasn't for you for whatever reasons leading up to that point. And now look at you. I mean, you're the forefront, the tip of the spear, if you will, for an international humanitarian effort. Those things in the past is what makes the Caleb of today, right? Or the Tom of today, or the Sally of today, whoever you are. All those things in your past is what brings you to who you are now.
And on the flip side of that coin, too, something that comes to mind is that, your past shortcomings don't have to define your future success.
That's correct.
Right? Like,
absolutely.
I'd be lying if I said I didn't struggle with some level of self-talk the past few weeks, especially when it first got started, before there was like tangible proof of concept, like, who the fuck are you, Caleb? You're just this fucking kid that kicked out of the Army after 3 years, that fucking, you're in over your head. You're not qualified to do this. There's no way that that you're the person that's going to be able to pull this together. Like, you're going to have to hand this off to somebody sooner or later. Like, all of this other stuff that I struggled with because of, again, my past actions, my past failures, my past results, right? And then I had to like intentionally remind myself that I don't have to be that person. I don't have to have that level of success, and that I don't have to abide by that same mental cage that I had, that I'm placing myself into actively in that moment, right? By subscribing to my limiting beliefs of the past. And so, that was a huge growth for me as well, was to recognize that, like, hey, I'm allowed to be better than I was before, right? Sorry, I got my 5-year-old. Hey, Ben, I need you to give me a minute, okay, buddy? Yes, you can have another yogurt, okay?
That's awesome. That is awesome. Yes. I mean, that's why we do things, right? Be able to provide yogurt for the kids.
That's right, man. The animals in the fridge.
The animals. Yes.
Yeah, man. My son being back in my life, I lost him for years, and he's been back in my life now, just like full 50-50, no issues. Me and his mom are getting along great. I'm really thankful amazing. That, I was shown the path that leads to redemption, for lack of better words, right? Like, we don't have, go back to what I was saying a minute ago. We don't have to be who we were. We don't have to succumb to the failures of the past, and we're allowed to be more if we allow ourselves to do it, right? Like, that's the biggest thing that stops people, is like, they tell themselves they can't. They tell themselves they're too young. I'm 26 fucking years old, and I'm leading this humanitarian effort that's grown into way more than I ever thought possible. And people will stop themselves from doing things because they believe that. And I almost did, dude. Like, I'm not going to lie. I was in the fucking pits. Like, day 3 of this op, I was like, what the fuck am I doing?
Did I really mean to sign up for this?
Yeah, like, wait. Caleb, you told them what?
Yeah. Whoa.
And I got to say, though, dude, I don't know where you stand religiously, but I don't ascribe to any denomination, any religion. I believe in my creator, and that's where I leave it, But myself, my team, people on my team that were agnostic and had no level of faith 3 weeks ago will come forward and say, like, I don't know what the fuck is going on, but like, I believe that there is some kind of divine intervention, that's happened because of just the miracles that we've seen unfold in the rolling out of this operation, right? Like, everything that we thought we were going to do, we didn't. In the sense that, like, our plan didn't go the way that it planned. We still arrived at the exact same end destination because of another random door that just opened after one closed, right? And like, everything has been miraculously intervened because everything has gone wrong, but we're 10 steps ahead of where we thought we'd be right now. That's just amazing. Like, that combination, everybody's just like, I don't even want to try, because if I try, I'm going to mess this up, right? Like, I just want this to keep going where it's going, by whatever divine intervention is currently pushing it.
God is good all the time. And you're right. When one door gets closed, because that one was supposed to be closed, you needed this one over here.
And the more I just surrender, the easier it gets. Like, the less that I'm trying to make it about my plan or my idea or what I thought was going to happen, and like, just wake up every day in a state of total surrender and be like, okay, I'm here for whatever comes my way.
Yep.
It's
your will be done.
Power in that.
Yes. Amen. Absolutely.
It's been incredible.
Absolutely. Well, how did you come up with this idea? Like, obviously I know how. There was a need, but
I don't.
In the broad sense of terms, I understand that there was a need. You saw that need, but what was it that led you to decide this was the mission you were going to take?
Sorry, my camera's blurring out here. Let me fix that real quick. So our whole main operation is we've established a logistics supply line coming up through Romania to support humanitarian and medical relief efforts on the ground in Ukraine. And call it God, call it intuition, call it foresight, whatever. At the very beginning, I, in my gut, recognized that Poland was going to be an issue, right? Like, I guess it isn't that far of a leap. All of your logistics for an entire operation running through one point of entry is bound to have hiccups. It's bound to go wrong, like, especially now as we see Belarus and these other, possible security issues come up with the Polish border, et cetera. from the very start, we recognized that there at least needed to be the opportunity to bring in supplies, aid, and people, and an additional route, that was established and was open for public use, for lack of better words. And so that's kind of where I stepped off and started. I have a client, her name's Cornelia. She's a first-generation refugee from Romania, and she's been pivotal in establishing connections on the ground, getting us in contact with who we need to contact with. Dude, she got like the presidential team of Romania at a dinner with our team 3 nights ago. Just
wow.
Absolutely crazy level, God level things happening, And so from there, we started, she has family that owns a trucking company in Romania. And so they have 125 trucks, 300 drivers, warehouses all across Europe. And so we were able to establish a connection with them. We were able to tap into their infrastructure. And then from there, be able to build off of it to then continue the chain up into Ukraine and with our contacts there. And so that's what, the overall plan is. That's kind of where we came to the realization of what we were going to do with it. We didn't realize what that pipeline was going to be filled with. We didn't realize all the opportunities that God was going to put in our path for how to utilize it. In the sense that we're currently in the process of finalizing a donation of 3 mobile hospitals, right? Like semi-trailers that are expand out in hospitals can hold 80 practicing individuals to man it. We've linked up with an organization called Austere Medical Relief Group. It's a team of former special operation medics that are running hospital relief and trauma stabilization points on the front lines. And so, we're coordinating with these other opportunities and organizations that are currently running ops and giving them access to our pipeline, to our connections, to our trucks, to our warehouses, to get their cargo into theater instead of getting it stuck in Poland for 2 weeks, and that's the big overall picture. Yeah.
Wow. To have all that in place and then the ability to share that with all these other groups to ensure that they're able to use that pipeline, as you said, a second port of entry. One of the things I learned in the Air Force was dual redundancy. You have to have 2, but you also need to have 2 to support those 2 and have the divine intervention, forethought, whatever, to come in from a different area. I can only assume that has been proven to be an amazing asset for those that are in need in the Ukraine.
100%, man. It's been not just in like our hands and what we're doing and our teams, but in the path we carved, right? Like we had to overcome like standing custom regulations with Romania to be able to import goods. Like we literally were able to pave the way for others to do this behind us now. That's even awesome. If it's other organizations, even if it's not our pipeline, even if it's not our trucks, our warehouse, we've got the connections now. We've got the movements in place to overcome obstacles as they come up, right? Even if we haven't figured it out yet, our problems are a phone call away, for lack of better words, to be solved and to be rectified. And something that I'm really grateful for, man, is the spirit of Europe right now. It's something that not a lot of people are talking about in the media. The media really wants to focus on the bad, on the civilians that are dying, on Russian aggression, on everything else. But what I want to focus on and what I want to bring attention to, man, is the good of humanity, right? The people that are coming together to help Ukraine. And I'm going to get into what people are doing here in the U.S. in a minute, but the teams on the ground are overwhelmed with love and generosity and kindness by people showing support to our teams coming in on the ground in Europe and as they travel to Ukraine and in Ukraine. But not just that, it's not just our team, it's not just because we're American, it's because we're helping Ukraine. The entirety of Europe, all of the people have all come together, whatever they can do to support the people of Ukraine, give them housing, give them shelter, give them the shirts off their backs, they're doing it. We have people in America that are doing coat drives all around the country and sending donations to a collection site that we've established with another veteran, Rex Thompson, up in Vermont. We have incredible support that we've garnished all over the world for this operation and for the people of Ukraine. And I wish people would focus on that more. I wish people would focus on the good, and myself included. I need to be sharing more things about the good. I need to be talking about the people supporting us more rather than the problem that needs solved. And so I guess this is my own reminder, to take a moment for the good that's in the world and for the godly things that have been established for us, not just giving credibility to the evil, you know?
Yeah. You're right. The U.S., I guess the world media sensationalizes the negative because, that's what sells copies. That's what increases downloads and clickbait and all that kind of stuff, is the horrible headlines. But I'll even go on a limb and say that the Ukrainian flag is now the new flag of freedom and has surpassed that of what our flag, used to mean. And that may be a very...
I made that post February 26th. I posted a picture and I said, I don't know how I feel about this, but this represents more of a level of patriotism and freedom than the American flag has in a decade.
Yeah.
Or in a millennia. I mean,
it's going to be a very unpopular opinion to say, especially since I have one here, I have one here, and I've got one, right here. I'm about as patriotic as it comes, but we did that fight 200 years ago.
Yeah.
And we haven't done a whole lot for our country, as you said, in the last decade or plus. So, I applaud you in the efforts that you're making, the foundation that you've paved, the road that you are paving to help those. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. Next, what I want you to do is tell us, everybody out here in the interwebs, what is it that you need from us, and how can we get that need to you and your people?
So the biggest need that we have is going to be funding, right? We have steady supplies of donations, whether that's from manufacturers, whether that's from hospitals, whether that's from universities, things like that. We obviously need more cargo. We need more donations. But what we specifically need is the money to move these cargo, the money to pay the warehouses, the money to pay the gas for the trucks to move it on the ground. We are 100% self and crowd funded, and as much as I appreciate all the people that have supported us, it's run out. We're on the ground now and the guys aren't really sure what we're going to do next. And so we desperately need
attention veteran business owners. Do you want an easy way to be certified as a veteran-owned business? Do you want a better way to show it off in the same hard-charging fashion as our old unit patches? Do you want an easier way to be found and get business write-ups, more interviews, social media promotion, and more? avboa.net has your 6. Get access to over 20 hard-charging digital badges for web and social media shares that shows you are a certified veteran-owned business. You've earned it. Show it off. Visit avboa.net today and use code KNOCK6, that's KNOCKSIX. Get your digital badge today. And at this point, we are going to identify our sponsor and give Caleb an opportunity to get some more Danimals out of the refrigerator.
Sorry, guys, I'm back.
No, that's all right. That's all right. So this episode is brought to us by the American Veteran Business Owners Alliance, avboa.net. So go to avboa.net and get your digital badge today. All right, back to Caleb.
And so, if you guys want to set up coat drives at your churches, your VFWs, your American Legions, we have a collection center in Vermont that you can mail them to that will open it up. They'll sort it by what we need and prioritize it, whether it needs to go on as a checked bag with one of the team members heading over because it's that urgent of a need, or whether it can go on air freight, or whether it can go on a boat because it can be there in 30 days. Creating the manifests, like weighing everything. That's what that team on the ground there is doing. So you guys can mail things there, or you guys can go to phantomsupportukraine.org, and there's a plethora of buttons you'll see on the screen that say donate in different places. Hit any of those, and you guys can make a monetary contribution. It's fully tax deductible. You guys will get a receipt for it in your email. You guys can set up a one-time payment, or you can set up a monthly recurring payment every month. If you want to donate $100, $20, $500, whatever it may be, it'll set it up like a subscription for you guys. And again, fully tax deductible. You guys will get a receipt. Operation Phantom Support is John Valentine's 501c3 that we've partnered with to take care of all of our fundraising and to essentially take care of the legal side of fundraising, right? It's legitimate. You guys are getting the tax write-off, etc. And so big shout out to John. Thank you so much, Nick. I really appreciate you, man. And yeah, that's the biggest way people can help, man. It costs us $500 to $1,000 for every truckload that we pick up from the airport of cargo. And we only have so much money ourselves.
Right. Well, I'm going to give a suggestion. Folks can stop going to the Starbucks and spending $7 to $12 on caffeine. They can go to Soldier Girl Coffee or Vertical Momentum.
Carrie is amazing. I definitely double up on Soldier Girl Coffee. One of her employees is actually on the ground with my team right now.
Shut up.
Yep. Michael McGarry, shout out, bro.
All right. Well, buy your coffee from Soldier Girl Coffee and save the rest of it and send it to Phantom Support in a monthly recurring debit, if you will, and help 2 veterans and their missions. That's my challenge to you. I am going to do that.
Absolutely, guys. And for context, it's more than just me and Michael. Between us and Austere Medical Relief Group that we're pretty much coordinating with hand in hand, there's over a dozen veterans on the ground right now that are providing aid that we're supporting and helping facilitate. Austere Medical Relief Group has their own cargo allocations they've gotten from universities and hospitals, and they're relying on us to move it for them and to get it to them in country at their 4 points. And so we have to get the funds to cover this gas, to cover the drivers, to cover the trucks, to get them their cargo, so that they can get those life-saving materials and equipment in use on the ground with the people that need it.
So without breaking ComSec, can you tell us how many people you have on the ground in country?
Phantom Support organically, we have 2 on the ground in Ukraine right now. We have 1 in Romania, and we'll have 2 more heading over shortly.
Okay.
And then Austere Medical Relief Group has right around a dozen medics on the ground right now that we're supporting.
Awesome.
We live together, breathe together, sleep together. So like our guys are with them in the same safe houses and the same, so just for context, we're like a family at this point. Daniel, huge shout out to you, man. Kendra, you guys are incredible. What you've done with your team, and Glitch and all the guys on the ground. I appreciate you guys for sure. I'm going to shout you out here in the comments.
Yeah, please do. And send me a list of all the other places that I can, distribute people to go click and see and learn more. I want to also clarify, you guys are not running operations like you're not toting weapons and going in and firing rounds down range. You are solely doing the humanitarian relief efforts, correct?
Yep. Operation Phantom Support is 100% a civilian, volunteer, unarmed humanitarian relief effort.
Okay, good. All right, I just wanted to, make sure everybody knew that this wasn't secret squirrel stuff. We're not, trying to fund the CIA in some strange way.
We're teaching paramedics on the ground, TCCC. We're doing hospital relief shifts. Not us. Daniel and his team are doing hospital relief shifts. We're bringing over civilian nurses and doctors to facilitate these 4 hospitals that we're facilitating. We're not even Phantom Support is not in areas that require security elements right now.
Okay, but I heard you say the word safe house. We're
referring to that as just a general unknown, undisclosed location where we're housing team members. In theater.
Okay. Is there anything else that you want to share? Any other information that you want to make sure everybody either has access to or knows?
The one thing I want to put out there is it doesn't matter if it's my organization. I would want to challenge you guys to do something, right? We're put on the earth here for a reason. We're put here for purpose. We're put here to more than just make the trees do some work so we can breathe, right? And I really do feel that not enough Americans are taking that responsibility seriously. Just in the sense of like, you owe the world good, right? Like, your existence is not free. Your existence isn't quantified by how many years you spend here wastefully, right? Like, your existence is quantified by the impact that you make to the people that need it, to the people that you are the blessing that you give, right?
Amen. Yeah.
And I really want people to focus on that more. You know, that there's, even if you're Christian or not, that parable of the talents rings true, right? You know, like, we're called, whether by God, whether by the universe, whether by, you know, Allah, or it doesn't matter what you subscribe to, pretty much every single doctrine in the world and philosophical language dictates that we are valued by our contributions back into the world as a matter of purpose, right? Like, what else are we here to do other than improve the world around us? Period. Doesn't matter where it comes from, the Bible, the Quran, right? The Torah. We're all here to be better. And so let's be better by actually doing things more so. Like, as much as I appreciate people giving donations to the Red Cross and like signing the little thing and you know, set up a coat drive, right? Have a box at on your sidewalk with a plastic bin that says Ukrainian donations with a big sign. People driving by will get to know it, right? Like, these are the things that make a impactful difference in the world. As much as money is needed, the world needs good. The world needs people to be good and to do good. And so as much as the money will make a difference, I want to challenge people to actively do something themselves more than just sign a check and forget about it, right? Like, I want them to become a part of the movement. I want them to involve themselves in it. I want them to actually take their life and leave it with meaning at the end of it, other than just money, right? Because that's all everybody focuses on, right? It's money. Like, what did you do with your money? Well, chances are you gave enough charitable donations to be able to say you gave a charitable donation, not because you actually felt like you wanted to make an impactful difference with your leverage, right? And so for those of you that doesn't apply to monetarily, what are you doing with your time? What are you doing with your message? What are you doing with your platform and your friends and your voice? Rant over.
Right. Well, that goes right in line with, you know, another veteran-owned business and guest of the Knock&Talk show, Griff from the Combat Flip-Flops. You know, his slogan is "Be a Better Human," and I totally subscribe to that. So this is definitely something that's been weighing heavy on my heart and my wife's heart and our little nucleus of a family, and like trying to figure out the best way that we can support and help. And I'm extremely honored to have you here on the show so that I can help, even if it's just this little bit, get the message out to, you know, half dozen, 2 dozen people, and give them the opportunity to be that better human and help.
Thank you so much, Patrick. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you letting me be a guest here.
Yeah, man. You got to come back on the show again. Give us an update, you know, in a couple of weeks or so, and I will for sure share the information on the next adult men's trip to Alaska, because I'm going to put my name on that register. Heck
yeah, man. We got to finish up this men's trip to Ukraine first.
Yes. Understood. Priorities. So anyway, brother, thanks again.
Well. It'll be in July.
This has been the 21st episode of Knock&Talk Show, and our guest, Caleb Blair, has dropped some knowledge bombs on us, some efforts and links that we need to share, and ways that you can help those in need across the pond in the Ukraine. So people, be a better human, and everybody stay well, be safe, and we'll catch you next time.
Later, guys.
The Knock&Talk Show is a certified veteran-hosted podcast. Show your support, tune in, share, and subscribe.